Hello, my name is Kim Sauer. I'm at Apex 2015 and I'm joined by three gentlemen from Fuji. So I've got Shun and Ezaki from Fuji, Japan, and Tom Z from Fuji, America. Welcome to America. We're in sunny San Diego. Can I start with you, Ezaki, about the business environment? So what's going on in the business?
So let me talk about our market a little bit. So our market, SMT market, had a little bounced, and now it is rather active market. And if we look at the applications, so like communication equipment like a smartphone, also active. But not only the smartphone business, the automotive market is very much active, and also the general industry-wise, it is also active. It means that generally speaking, our market is active. And then, so the geographically, so the Asia market is good. But not only the Asia, if we look at the Americas, for example, the Mexico market is very much active, very hot market, good market for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so lots of activity going on, which is really, really positive. And I suppose there are lots of lessons to be learned out of that to be able to then adapt your solutions and offerings to that. So, Tom, can you tell us a little bit about what those learning curves are?
Sure. I think Fuji addresses the low volume, high mix, the high volume, low mix, the mid volume, mid mix markets. I mean, we're in all the markets now. Our solutions are in a very, very flexible world, as you know. And basically addressing those markets has taught us a lot. By addressing these markets, we've learned about accuracy, we've learned about new technologies, we've learned about automating the back end of the factory, the manual insertion process. So these are lessons that come to us, obviously, on a day-to-day basis because of the large EMS and automotive companies that Ezaki had referred to. And continuing to address those markets continues to educate us. And as customers get into the automation of their factory, obviously that education is very, very important. So.
Which then obviously also has impacts on the manufacturing environment. And Shun, so how have you adapted that environment to cope with those, the learning curves that you've been talking about, Tom, and the general positivity in the market?
Okay. The first of all, there is so many key issues, key points to be improved in the manufacturing areas. Inventory management, and then real-time supply chain management, and then we call it engineering loop, the value chain management, and so on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the regionalization in the manufacturing has been coming through, and then recent data shows us the single factory to the market has been shifted. The factory in the region such as Brazil, Vietnam, Indonesia, and Mexico, and Thailand. They are driving the manufacturing environment changing. From mass production to less production, like production on demand, and then also to sustain a shorter time to market environment.
Mm-hmm. And those are all developments that fit into the smart factory. Industry 4.0 is what the Germans would call it as well, and it is exactly those points that you raised, the time to market and a full traceability within the manufacturing environment. Digitalization, like you mentioned, is driving that. So what sort of solutions are you working on, or have you already got, that will cope with those demands of today, but also the demands of tomorrow?
Let me try to answer that questions. We are now trying to supply the smart factory. The factory of the future concept to the market. Mm-hmm. That we are heading to supply system to manage the entire process between the material in and the products out. The cancellation of loss caused by a technology gap is one of the key critical point for the manufacturers. The loss caused by technology gap has an impact, a critical impact on the cost. And then while the cost reduction is the key concerns between the SMT customers, SMT companies.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So there are obviously new products that you have to come out with and new technologies. So what is it that you're working on? So if I just ask you, Tom.
Sure. Well, I think to address Shun's approach and Fuji's approach, not only the industry 4.0, factory of the future, smart factory, all-in-one solution. Fuji has been in that environment for a long time, and now even more so as we address the single solution. We address it on a broader scale, but we also address it on the smaller line scale with our channel partners, having the capabilities of screen printing to AOI to pick and place to reflow. The all-in-one solution is what the customer's looking for in that environment, but more importantly, the whole software enterprise solution. That's really what it takes to encompass this regionalization and localization that Shun's talking about. The time to market, NPI, being able to launch a factory, being able to launch a product quicker and get it to market to catch the window of opportunity obviously is critical. So I would say the software enterprise system, our capability to integrate chip placement with semiconductor placement and die attach is all very, very important. So these are all the key factors of how they all contribute to the information you're hearing here.
Yeah, and we're talking about the Internet of Things, big data, and we like to call it the Internet of Manufacturing, because there's that big, wide unknown. But for a manufacturing environment, you need an internet and be able to deal with the volume of data that all of this is going to generate. And the solution that you were talking about, the software solution, is something that is good for traceability up and down the line. Tying it back with what you were saying about the the positivity within the market. Just finally, if you could say a couple of words to the future, near future, maybe midterm future, are you seeing those developments continuing, those positive developments?
Yeah, I think so. So everything goes to the total automation system, not only our equipment, but also to connect to the other equipment and also the customers' database, etc., etc. So the total solutions will come, so we will do that.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us here, and wish you lots of success here at the show at Apex, but also for all your solutions and developments within Fuji.
Thank you, Ken. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.